Okay, so I guess we'll go and get started. Like I said, Nicole's having a system update, so she should be in any second. And looks like Alex is here as well, so yay. Good morning, everyone. We're gonna go ahead and start off with wins and challenges. So go ahead and put your name in the chat if you would like to share this morning. While people are coming in and while you're deciding if you're going to share this morning, Nicole and I wanted to announce a little group contest that we're doing. So if you're not a part of the Facebook group, send me a message. We'll get you added. But basically what we're going to be doing is for the next few weeks, we're going to be giving away some Starbucks gift cards for people who interact in the Facebook group. So we have those available to you. So that would be like sharing a post, commenting on some of the posts we've been doing, doing a post on your own page about the lead gen challenge or really anything like that. And we will just make sure you tag us, and our handles are on the screen so you can see. And we will be going ahead and doing some of those drawings each week. So that'll be really fun, just to help, you know, the engagement, everyone, helping each other out and say everything like that. That being said, we are on week 5. We are now in March, which is crazy. So it's March 1st today, and we are about halfway through the challenge. So it's 61 days. It is, you know, a good amount of time. So don't stop now. Keep the momentum going. Let us know what we can do to help you out, and keep you chugging along. So with that being said, Antonia says that she would like to share this morning. So go ahead and unmute yourself. Let us know your winner challenge for the week.
Yes, good morning. So I have been posting, trying to get leads, promoting what we're doing, lead generation, and the angle I'm coming from is trying to get referrals, and it doesn't have to be in my area. It could be in any area, and I can, send a referral to them wherever they are. So I had an agent in Charlotte. I had been seeing my post. He said he had an agent in South Carolina that was moving to North Carolina. So he's not licensed in North Carolina, and wanted to know if I would do a referral with him. So we chatted Monday, and we got him under contract yesterday. So yay.
Wow, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah, so that's a great point for lead generation. Like, clearly the point is to target clients, but the other part that Scott talks about is where are you getting your leads from? What referral partners or referral sources are you using? And so it sounds like you've really been hitting that hard to get referrals. And with North Carolina being such an in-net migration market, spreading out your lead generation sources to multiple states is a really, really good strategy right now. A lot of the research that our company has done has shown that a majority of the people who are moving here are from Virginia, Florida. We see a lot of people from California and Texas, and then of course the New England states. So I know a lot of us agents are not from North Carolina either. So tapping into those lead sources and your network that were in the state that you came from, or multiple states if you've moved around a lot, is a really, really good strategy, especially when that is a state where we're seeing a lot of people migrating from. So that's awesome. Anybody else, go ahead, throw your name in the chat. Looks like Nicole is able to join us now. Anything? So Nicole, I went ahead and announced the Facebook group contest. Antonia went ahead and shared a win. Was there anything that you wanted to mention for this morning?
No, I think that's really good. And I think that the topic we're going to cover today is going to be super helpful because it is just predicted that the majority of this market is going to be led by new construction moving forward. We just don't have enough homes. So I'm really excited to get into that.
For sure. So we'll go ahead, and since we no one else put their name on the chat for today, that's okay. We'll go ahead and get started on the topic. So as Nicole mentioned, our 20-minute topic for today is the benefits of new construction. So obviously, this challenge is being hosted by Melissa and Alex at Movement, our preferred lenders for me and Nicole at True Homes. So we would have to talk about new construction at least a little bit during the 61 days. So today's the day. So if you are not super familiar with new construction, or maybe you haven't done a lot of it in the past, or you just haven't found that your clients might be interested in new construction, here are some top reasons why some people might choose new construction over a resale home. Or if you start hearing your clients saying these things, these are good red flags of being like, okay, maybe we pivot, maybe we consider new construction, because there's a lot of, I'd say, like, myths out there about new construction, because I always joke, like, there's no HGTV show about new construction. Everyone knows about, like, doing resale, everyone knows about doing flips, everyone knows about tiny houses, but they don't have a show about new construction. So there's a lot of things that people don't know, or think that they know, which may or may not be true. And like one thing that definitely comes to mind with like a myth or concern is that you need a construction loan in order to buy a new construction house. And that's just not true unless they are doing a fully custom house, which I don't know the exact statistics on it, but true custom builds make up a very small percentage of new construction sales. A majority of, you know, your average buyer, a majority of them are going to be choosing to build with a builder company that does more than 10 to 20 homes a year. So that helps eliminate that issue of a construction loan, because that is a more difficult loan to qualify for. It is more expensive. It is more time consuming. So it's really not a good fit for most people. Another myth that I can think of right away is that people worry that, you know, the homes are going to be really cookie cutter and there's going to be no character to the house. That might be true with some builders, but what you'll find is that a lot of builders have a very wide variety of personality, if you will. There are going to be some that are going to be a little more cookie cutter, cut and dry, straight to the point, a little more simple. And that might be okay for some people. And there's going to be ones that are going to be more detailed, have more character, if you will, or more differentiation. And True Homes definitely fits into that category very, very well, because we are semi-custom. We've got tons of different floor plan, what we call lifestyles, so layouts for your first and second floors, lots of exterior options, structural options, design studio options. So even if you, even if your client picks one of our quick move-in homes where we picked out everything, they're gonna feel good knowing that if they walk into their next door neighbor's house, it's not gonna be the exact same as theirs. So anyway, so that's a few myths off the top of my head. If you have questions or comments while we go through this, feel free to throw it in the chat. Otherwise, we'll go through this page really quickly. So one of the top things that new construction can provide is a clean home that is not previously lived in. This has been much more of a current topic now that we have hit pandemic and like post-pandemic times, is that people think about that now. They think about like, oh my gosh, I don't know who lived in this house. I don't know what happened here. And so a new construction house is going to be a clean slate. You know what's happened on the carpet. You know what happened in the kitchen because it was only you that's been in the house so far. Next is being specific about location, floor plan, and selections. This one's really huge because I think sometimes clients either don't know about new construction or won't consider it, whatever, and they end up dragging you to see 10 houses, 15 houses, 20 houses, and they are rejecting them or not being interested in them because the cabinets aren't the right color. I don't like the countertops. I don't know about this flooring, you know, like very specific options that they could change if they wanted to. Is it going to be like very inexpensive? Maybe, maybe not. So if you're finding that your client is like X-naying all these houses because of specific selections, or the floor plan layout isn't right and you're just not finding what they're looking for, I would try and pivot them to do new construction, and specifically maybe doing a pre-sale or a client build. So
I wanna
go ahead.
jump in on this one because I feel like this is really important. Like we just had a company-wide review with the owner of our company and the VP of sales where they analyze like how we do our process. And one of the things they said that we really need to make sure that we're talking about is exactly this, because there are so many options with a builder like us. Now, not all of them, to Brittany, you're not Brittany. To Ariel's point, not all of them are going to do that, but True Homes is a semi-custom builder. So what's cool about this is that I can actually show you. So I was going to take a quick minute, share my screen and show them Home Finder.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So guys, what this is, I'm going to share my screen here. That I'm going to show you. This is what we use when we are working with your clients and we're trying to go, even if they're looking at like a showcase homes, a lot of time that's an inventory home. That's what we call that. We'll get into that a little bit too, maybe. But even when we're doing that, we are trying to kind of let them know about the different options. So I'm going to start here first. So something that's really unique to True Homes, but really to the point of what Ariel is saying, is what we call lifestyle plans. So as this loads, it'll come up, but we have different variations of the same plan. So for example, this is our Hudson plan. This is one of our top selling plans. It's a great mix of value and space, and it starts around 2069 square feet. So the same footprint, it just changes a little bit, and you see stuff shifting around within it, like where the great room is, where the kitchen is. There's a study in this one, and in this one has a butler's pantry. This is a really good way to bring a client over and figure out what they like. So we actually do have quite a bit of agents who start with us, and they'll come in and they'll sit down and have an appointment. Now we're converting at about 50% with our brokers. So they come in and about half of those buy with us because we probably have a solution for them. But it's also a really good place to start if it's like, just don't bring us people who can't buy with us, please. But we will be more than happy to walk your clients through these options so that they can see what they like and what they don't like, and at least give us a shot at it. And we are happy to educate them on these types of things. Another really cool thing that we can do, just so you know, I know I'm talking a lot about True Homes, but this is kind of our process and how we work it. We just want to help you out. Let's say that their budget is $450. And we know that we have a lot or something like that in the area they're looking in that might cost like $10,000. And on average, people are spending about $25,000 in extras. It's totally up to them, but we can plug that in as part of their budget. Or if they're like, I just want to see how much space I can get, just including the lot, we can do that. And this tool over here on the side is going to organize them in order of where you can get the most space. Now, not all of these have build opportunities right now, but let's say they are open to different locations. We're okay with going over to Tanglewood here in Anger. So we take a look. Going to have 9 different floor plans up to 3,900 square feet that they can make work for a budget of $450 if our lot premium is $10,000 or under. And then it's going to allow us to compare all of them next to each other. So new construction, whether it's us or anywhere else, can be a real education for your clients on what they like and what they don't like. Floor plan, layout, features. This is just a really good place to start. So aside from just trying to get sales, I highly recommend that you do bring your clients out to see us so that we can go through this process with them, because they might learn so much more about what they really want. That's it.
No, very true. Thank you for sharing that. That's perfect. Because she's right. You know, not everyone has bought a house before. Not everyone knows what all is out there, and being able to kind of lay that out and help them just wrap their minds around what is going to be more important in my home purchase. When you lay out those 4 floor plans, just for instance, it helps them to realize, like, okay, you can either have a room for your office or you can have a formal dining. Do you care? Do you prefer one or the other? Is the office okay upstairs if you want the formal dining? Do you not want formal dining at all? Like, it can really help them to put together what are my must-haves, what are my nice-to-haves, and what would be like the absolute dream. And I think that's a really good place to start with any of your buyer clients. I actually just heard of an agent recently who has a little worksheet, and she basically does just that. As when she meets her clients in her first buyer meetings together, she has them fill out, okay, like, what will I not compromise on? What would be nice to have? And what would be like, super, super nice to have extra dream home kind of list. And then talks to them about where those items fall versus their budget and what location they want to be in. Because we all know that if you have, a good budget, even for a Cary or an Apex or a downtown Raleigh location, you might have to give up some of the options that you put on your dream list versus, are you okay coming out to some of the more like outer ring areas like a Fuquay or a Clayton or an Anger, and then maybe getting more of the options that you want while you stay in your budget. But that's a question that you have to pose to them, and that's a decision that they have to make themselves. So I added this one actually recently. If you've done one of our new construction seminars before, your clients would have the ability to purchase from a highly motivated seller with no emotional attachment to the home. What this means is True Homes, just like Pulte, just like Dan Ryan or DRB, DR Horton, they are all companies. These are not our personal homes that we're selling. And in order for all of us to stay in business, we need to sell these houses. So what that means for your client is we are willing to, you're able to go back and forth, maybe do some negotiations, find an incentive, something like that to make the deal work. We aren't going to all of a sudden, your client's under contract and we go, oh, I changed my mind. I actually want to stay in my house. Sorry, deal's off. You're not going to be putting your client into those situations that can happen in resale. I mean, things happen all the time. Maybe somebody was planning on selling their house because they had to relocate for a new job, but oh, just kidding. We ended up taking a job somewhere else and we're going to be here. And now I need my house back. I don't know how often that really happens, but if that's something that has happened to your clients in the past, it's something that you can avoid in the future.
Well, and negotiations, right? So, do we have anything on here about that? I don't think we do. So like when you get into negotiating due diligence repairs, that person's emotional on the other side. They're offended that you're asking for this or that because their house is perfect, and that's part of the seller's agent's job to kind of help them understand this isn't their house anymore if they're going to sell it. But a builder, you hand us an inspection report and we're just going to take it and roll with it. Like, okay, cool. Let's go through here. As long as it's not something that is not a code thing, not a quality thing, something that we just don't do, which is very rare. We usually just take the whole report and go do it. So that process is a lot easier. Also, like she said, we're highly motivated. So you come in with somebody who has a $350 budget, but we have a $375 house. We're sitting there and trying to figure out a win-win for everybody, how to make that $375 price point work. And that's usually where we're going to tap in like Melissa and Alex. We're going to start having conversations about different ways we can finagle financing so that that budget still works for them, because at the end of the day, most people are just concerned about their monthly payment unless they're paying cash, but that's a separate conversation.
Awesome. So then next would be if you have a client who wants to live right by family or friends, like in the same neighborhood, or they want to be next door neighbors, this is going to be very much more challenging in resale. It's going to be all about timing, and if the community or the neighborhood has what your buyers are looking for, it can be a huge, I don't know, toss up. I mean, it would be very difficult to try and finagle it so that they are located geographically in the same neighborhood or next door neighbors or what have you. However, when you come into a new construction neighborhood, unless they're in closeout and they only have a few homes left, it's going to be much easier to say, okay, what if we pick this home site and this inventory home, or we could both build over here, or like, I worked a few years ago. I worked in a neighborhood on the edge of Holly Springs and Fuquay, and this community was only 62 homes, I think, and we had 4 pairs of child parent in the same neighborhood, and there were, you know, one pair that wanted to be right next door to each other and they wanted to fence in their backyard, so this giant backyard. Then there was another pair that wanted their houses to be back to back so that they could fence in and have their dogs run from one house to another and have the grandkids run from one house to another. And then there was two pairs that wanted their houses to be kind of close, but like really don't need to be next door neighbors. I just need to see like if you're home or not. So it worked out really, really well when all of those clients found either a lot to build on or one of our quick move-in homes so that they could have the exact layout that they were looking for. This was especially relevant because, you know, what the parents wanted for their home was very different than what the kids were wanting for their homes. So anyways, so new construction is going to be a really, really great avenue to go down if that is the instance that your clients are in. And even we have a community right now where there's like 4 friends that all bought, you know, right along the street or right, you know, next to each other because they wanted to be nearby, and they carpool to work. So it worked out really well. This next one kind of falls in a little bit with the one we just talked about, which is resale homes in the area that they're looking for are either very old, too small, not what they're looking for, or has limited supply. So this would definitely apply more to probably our first-time home buyers or our buyers that are looking in really, really hot and expensive areas. So it's kind of like one or the other, but sometimes when you have clients that are looking, we'll start with like a more entry-level price point buyer first. So let's say you have a more entry-level price point buyer. They have decided, you know what, Apex is the dream, but we can't really afford what we want right now. How about Anger? So, or Lillington. When we were selling there 2 years ago, there was really no competition. There was no new construction in the area. And basically their option was, okay, here's a 900 square foot small brick home that's been there for 40 years and doesn't check any of your boxes. Or here's this new construction community where you can get the 2-story home of 2,400 square feet that's new and has less repairs. So in those up and coming areas, in those newer areas, sometimes there's just really no other option for them except for new construction that really makes sense. The caveat to that is if you do have a client that's looking in those hot areas like a downtown Raleigh or an Apex, there is just such limited supply because those houses go so quickly. Your client might be losing out on resale homes because they get so much attention. There's so many people wanting to be there. And so looking for new construction could be a really great option to just lock something in and being able to get into those high areas. Next up would be they need to move into something quickly. So this would actually be great for, like Nicole was saying, it may be a cash buyer that could close in 2 weeks. Well, in a resale environment, unless that person's already moved out of the house, going under contract, moving out, going to closing in 2 weeks could be very challenging for some people who are selling their home. Whereas if we have, if new construction has a home that's finished, ready to move into, a 2-week turnaround would not be impossible. I mean, even Alex and Melissa can attest, they've been able to do pre-qualification to closing in a week, 2. I mean, they've been able to pull off some miracles. So if your client is looking and they need to move like yesterday, a quick move-in home that's finished in new construction is going to be a really, really good option for them. And then again, going back to, you don't have to worry about the seller all of a sudden, oh, I can't move out. Oh, my moving truck got delayed. Like, you don't have to worry about any of those things. Next is they want to lock in their home, but don't want to move in until later. So this is a great option for doing a client build or what we call a pre-sale home where your client gets to pick everything out. Now, one example that I think of right away is people who just signed a new lease. So if you have a client who decided to rent, maybe they relocated here, they're still trying to figure out the area, whatever the situation may be, and they're in a lease that's not up for 5 to 9 months, maybe even a year, and they want to buy, they want to lock something in, but they can't get out of their lease that early or something like that.
I
Go ahead,
want to
Nicole.
try something, and I know you're about to go there,
Go
right?
ahead.
So could everybody please do me a huge favor? I'm going to ask you to interact one time, just the one. Put in the chat how long you think the average build time is in the triangle right now. From
Build
contract to
transition.
completion. This is how we know if you're actually paying attention.
Or a client build.
Okay, somebody. There we go. 9 months. Okay. Anybody else? 8 months. Cool. 8 to 10 months. 6 to 9 months. You guys are good. You guys are good. Okay. It varies from builder to builder. True Homes tends to be a little bit faster because of the way that we do our process, and it depends on the county, right? So our contract says 5 to 11, and we're trending probably closer 7 to 9. Although we do have some neighborhoods that are at 5 right now. They're at like 5, 6. So when she's talking about planning ahead, just keep that in mind. We have plenty of people who come in to a septic community, which is going to take longer, and say they want to build and they want to move in 4 months. We just cannot do the paperwork that fast, right? But if they just sign that lease, that's when you start looking.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, great point, Nicole. Thank you. Yeah, so when you have those clients that say, oh, I just signed a lease, I can't move for another 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, maybe even 12 months. Like, I'll just look later. But present this to them. Say, you know what? You have this great opportunity where you can lock in your pricing, lock in your lot, know exactly where you're going to be living in 6, 8, 9, 12 months. And you don't have to move until the house is finished, which won't be until that time frame. And all the money that you need out of pocket is just a builder deposit, which is obviously going to vary, but still, ours is only 2 to 3% of the total purchase price. So on a $400,000 home, you're looking at $8,000 to $12,000, and that gets credited back to you at closing. But the point is that now they can sit in their rental for 6, 9, 10, 12 months, knowing exactly where they're going to move after that, knowing that they have a plan in place. Isn't that such a great relief, knowing that they don't have to sit there every day in their rental and be like, all right, just waiting until, about 3 months before my lease is up, then I'll start looking at a bunch of homes, and hopefully I find something, and hopefully I can move in time, and hopefully I don't have to keep renting, and hopefully I can, don't have to break my lease early, or whatever the case may be. So this is one that we tackle quite a bit, and a lot of clients don't realize that they can do that. So this is a great one to bring up when people are trying to say, I'll just wait. We don't need to wait. We can go ahead and take care of this right now. And then lastly, if the client needs time to save for a down payment, or maybe work on their credit a little bit, or something like that, maybe they're getting a promotion or a bonus soon that they need for their down payment or something like that, this is a great opportunity for them to look at new construction because they'll have a little bit more time. Now, depending on what their circumstances, they could go under contract on a quick move-in or an inventory home that's maybe not finishing for 2 to 3 months. Or they could do what we were just talking about and do a pre-sale, so they have, several months to save up for their down payment or maybe bump their credit a little bit. I know Alex and Melissa work with clients all the time that they can't necessarily qualify to buy a home today or can't close on a home in 30 days. But by the time the home is finished in 4 months, then they're totally fine. We're ready to go. Everything is great. This is another way that we can get them off the fence and not have them sit there hoping and praying that they're going to get something when they're in that situation.
I was actually going to tag them in and ask them to talk a little bit about the benefits of new construction from a lender perspective.
Okay, I'll be quick because I have to jump off in like 5 minutes for a virtual doctor's appointment. But I'll make your lives easy. The good thing about working with a preferred when you're dealing with new construction, particularly with True Homes, we have access to all the information. So you guys aren't waiting for us. You're not waiting for True to get documentation to you, to get the documentation to us. You're not waiting on us to get it. We have all of it. In addition to that, we know True's process probably better than we know our own process at this point. Alex can agree with you. Our team is constantly talking about True deals before everybody else's. And not that we're putting any of our other business to the side, but True just flows so easily. We can knock that out quickly and everybody's on the same page. In addition to that, we have access to the documentation so we can see that permits are coming in. We can see that certain stages have been hit, and we can reach out and say, hey guys, we're down to 4 months. The market's kind of wonky right now. Let's talk about locking your rate. Or, hey, we just saw pictures uploaded. Everything's looking great. How are you feeling? Are you doing the things we told you to do to prepare for closing? Have you saved that down payment? You're down to 3 months. Where are you with that? Alex, am I missing anything?
I mean, just the fact that when you go through a builder like this, we're not looking at a construction loan. A lot of people think that just because you buy new construction, you have to go with a construction loan. It's absolutely not the case. It is a standard mortgage, a one-time close. The builder is going to carry everything until we get you guys to the closing table, as little as no down payment. So that's something that a lot of people think when we talk about new construction and resale. They think they have to have more money for new construction, and they do not. It's actually less. If you go with a preferred, a 2% deposit is going to be considerably less than what your earnest and due diligence is going to be on a lot of the similarly priced homes resale right now.
Yeah, very true, for sure. Yeah, that's a great point. Anything else you wanted to add, Nicole?
Just, I wanted to do a little testimony. So when I went under contract to buy a True Homes home, I did a build. And as some of you may know, when you first get into real estate, you are not swimming in money, right? So when I was in general brokerage, I racked my credit. Like, it was horrible because I put everything on credit cards to survive. And I was doing stuff that I thought was good that I didn't know was bad. And Melissa and I had a really good conversation. She gave me some fantastic tools. We were able to get to where I could get under contract. She helped coach me to where I could get under contract. And in the process of being under contract, helped me raise my credit score, helped me figure out how to save that money because I didn't need to be paying stuff off that I was paying off. And that's where my down payment money came from. I mean, obviously I do really well here at True with an amazing partner like Ariel. But at the time, it was a conversation, even for somebody at, my level of income and my situation. It was just something that had to be done. And I think, Melissa, since we first started, I just saw a record, like my credit score is up 200 points. Yeah, it's nuts. But this is where they can help you guys. They can help your clients so much in that process.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one last point to end with is I've talked to several clients lately, and Nicole and I sit on site in our Willow Spring communities, which is Jackson Springs and Huffington, which are somewhat more expensive communities in the area. And even the clients that walk in there who have typically bought a home or two before still don't know that they have the option to do a pre-sale and not actually start paying their mortgage until they close. That is a very easy hurdle to get over, but people just don't know it. So I think the best thing to end with is when you're in your buyer consultation appointment, talk about new construction, try and dispel some of those myths and see if it might be a good option for them, because it really could give them the flexibility, the price, the home, the time frame, whatever it is that they're looking for that the resale market may not be able to provide or might be a little more challenging to find. So with that, we'll wrap it up for today. If you have questions or want to chat with us, stay online or throw something in the chat. Otherwise, I hope you hit the phones hard this week and you have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next Wednesday. Bye, everyone.